All right, sounds good. Hey guys, my name is Justin. I am a junior I'm a rising senior in mechanical engineering, and this is my first year on the Dean's team, and I'll be taking you through our information session.
And hello, everyone. My name is Jessica McDaniel. I'm also a rising senior, and it's my second or third year on the Dean's team, and I'm in biological systems engineering.
So, what does it take to be an engineer at Virginia Tech? Creativity is definitely really important. The problems that we're facing now are not going to be the same problems that you face when you graduate, and things are changing all the time. So, being able to think outside the box and be able to think creatively with the knowledge that you've gained is really important. You also almost never be working alone. Engineering is a team effort. It takes a lot of people to come together and come up with solutions to these problems. Study habits are also really important. A lot of people, myself included, didn't have to study that much in high school and got along fine, but college is a completely different beast. Studying habits are going to be really important. Combine that with time management and how much you're able to do along with your classes. That's extracurriculars, spending time with your friends, stuff like that. Interest in math and science are definitely a big part of engineering. While you might not have to love it completely, might not have to be your favorite, you definitely have an interest in it. So when it gets tough, that you'll still be able to push through. In a challenging high school background, AP classes, IB classes, dual enrollment classes, those are all good indicators of college level difficulty and will prepare you study habits wise and content wise for your freshman year, and they'll give you easier transition to college.
These are the reports that we got from the freshman engineering class from 2019. So last year, these are by no means the GPA and scores that you necessarily have to have, but a lot of people ask for what are the average. So these are the averages. So 4.2 on a 5.0 scale for your GPA. For SAT, math, and reading, we have a 707 and 655 for reading. For females, it's 20.7%. So it's a little bit below the average, and we're working on that number to increase that number. And then for underrepresented and minority students, we have 29.4%. And so something I want to touch on for the GPA. So for example, if your school doesn't work on the 5.0 scale, or if you guys don't offer AP classes and stuff like that, what admissions does is they scale it up or scale it down to see what your GPA would have been if it was on that score or on that 5.0 scale.
The freshman year here at Virginia Tech in engineering, a lot of the ways that your class is going to be similar. So the common entry point and the classes that you take are available at this link, and you can scan the QR code. That's going to include Foundations of Engineering, which is our introduction engineering class, and we'll talk more about that later. And also like physics, chemistry, math, English, stuff like that. Some ways that your curriculum can differ from your peers is that if you came in with AP, IB, dual enrollment credit, then you can get out of some of those classes, and you can check out this link here. That'll cover the transfer guide. If you don't see like the credit in school that you've been to on that list, doesn't mean it can't be transferred. It just means no one has done it before. So you can just reach out to admissions and work it out, and they'll definitely be able to help you. The pathways for education curriculum is like your gen ed classes. This include like English, philosophy, your math and science courses will be covered from the regular curriculum. You get to choose. You have some diversity in what you want to pick there. And then you can select your major at the end of the year, and the 3.0 guarantees your first choice. So the question is your major that you choose after your freshman year guaranteed. So if you get a 3.0, your major is guaranteed. So for example, I chose mechanical engineering and I had a 3.0 at the end of my freshman year. So I was automatically guaranteed mechanical engineering. Regardless of how many people choose that major, the college will adjust class sizes, will hire more teachers and faculty and make sure they have the resources to support that many students. Commonly, the bigger majors, mechanical engineering, electrical, CS, those generally fill at the 3.0 mark. That changes year to year. And then the only exception is biomed, and we'll cover that a little later since it's a new major.
Another thing I want to add on to that is like, so just if they do it the other way around. So say if not enough people get the 3.0 for mechanical engineering, they'll go down to 2.9, 2.98 until they fill up all the spots. And then also, like, I didn't get the 3.0 at the end of my freshman year, so you can reapply to get into your major all the way up into your junior year. So for some people, it's like maybe they didn't pass physics the first time, and you need to pass all of your common point entry classes in order to declare your engineering major. So if you didn't pass physics the first time and you want to take it again over the summer at a community college, then that's fine. You'll just still be in general engineering until you finish those classes and things like that. And you can get your GPA up in that way as well. So you can keep reapplying. So I reapplied at the end of the summer before my sophomore year so that I still got into my major on time. The Foundations of Engineering class is a class that we have in the fall and in the spring that all freshmen have to take. So some of the things that we focus on are design and teamwork disciplines, all the different engineering disciplines. So one thing that you'll have to do for a grade is you have to go visit 3 different majors. So obviously everyone's going to go to the one that they're interested in, and then they're going to have to go to 2 different other information sessions for other majors, just so you see what the major is about, and you get to meet those students that are already in the major and kind of get yourself in there. So when it comes to applying for your major in the spring, you'll know which one that you most likely want to pursue. So we also work with different coding algorithms and different graphing tools like AutoCAD, we use MATLAB, we use SolidWorks and things like that. And then we do a lot of problem solving and discussing the future of engineering. You also do an end of the year project in the spring, and you can either do, I think it's an RC car, you can do a wind turbine or a airplane drone thing. So my group, we did a drone, so we had to really make it from scratch. We got all the materials, and they gave us basically just the motor, and we just had to fix it and make it so that it would fly in the drone cage. And I just thought it was so cool to see your project go from the computer on CAD and then into real life. So you really got to see the whole process and check in with your teacher along the way so that he can make sure that you're doing the right things that you need to be doing. So I feel like it's a very good class that all freshmen have to take.
Here are some of the undergraduate enrollment for our various majors. For everything that is, so engineering education is where all our freshmen are housed. So almost everyone there is the freshman in general engineering. And then the rest of them you can see are the upperclassmen. So there's gonna be sophomores, juniors, and seniors that have declared their major. So if you take the number that you see next to each major and divide by 3, that's about the size of the class that you're expecting. The only exception is biomedical engineering, which is one of our new majors. So that has a more involved application process. Not only do you have to get a 3.0, then you also write some essays, application essays, and do some interviews, and then you can be admitted into the major. We're expecting to increase the class size. So the last time it was 40, and then we're going to continue to increase it as the biomed major sees fit, and then eventually it will join the rest of the majors, as in you just get a 3.0 and you're guaranteed first choice. But I'm not sure on timeline on that, but I'm sure it'll be coming out soon.
So now we're going to go over all the different disciplines of engineering that we offer. First, starting with electrical engineering. So this is a very versatile major. Like you need an electrical engineer everywhere. So some of the things that they work on are electrical systems, electronics, communication systems, and controls. A lot of the electrical engineers have their circuit box, and they're walking around with it doing the different designs. And it's a very lab-based major and a really hands-on major, and they really get to see their stuff come to life. And some of the job types that they have are power and energy, communications, and microelectronics, and those are just a few. And like I said earlier, they're needed everywhere.
So moving on to computer science. So like we said before, electrical engineering is a lot of hardware-based stuff, so microprocessors, embedded systems, stuff like that. Computer science is on the opposite side of the spectrum, where it's almost all software. Basically, you learn how to design, develop software, how to make it run efficiently, how to scale it to run on different types of hardware, and you work in a bunch of different fields. There's human-computer interaction, which is like how to optimize the interface between a person using the computer and the computer itself to make sure that what you're trying to get the computer to do is very easy and intuitive to do. There's also data science, front-end, back-end development, video game design, systems and networking, stuff like that. It is one of the majors that offers a 5-year bachelor's and master's accelerated track. A lot of our engineering majors do, if not all of them. So what you can do is basically you take your first 3 years as normal, and then your senior year, you take some graduate courses, and you finish up that graduate degree in a 5th year. So in 5 years, you'll have both your bachelor's and master's degree. They work in software design, they big companies, software like Google, Facebook, Amazon, network computer security like Cisco, then mobile game development and mobile application development.
So computer engineering is different from computer science, like he said. So computer engineering is mostly focusing on the hard drive and making the computers faster, smaller, more compatible to incorporate in everyday life. So when you see on the right, on the bottom, there's this smart fabric that was developed. And so it was mainly developed so that if, someone who was elderly and they fell and they needed immediate, it'd be able to call 911 for them based on the impact of the fall. Some other areas of specialization are networks, hardware, computer systems, cybersecurity, just to name a few. And what that really means is for all of the Virginia Tech engineering majors, when you graduate, you don't just graduate with a computer engineering degree. You can graduate with computer engineering with a focus or an area of specialization in cybersecurity, for example. So while you're learning the grand scope of everything, you're also able to hone in and focus on your specific interests and things like that. So you'll have something great to put on your resume, and you also get to do different types of projects and stuff based on what you specifically are interested in and like to do.
Just adding on to that, if you kind of think of electrical engineering, computer science as a spectrum, if electrical is here, it's all hardware based, and computer science is here and it's all software based. Computer engineering is kind of like the mix of the two, making sure that those two interface well. So you make sure that your low level software interfaces well with your physical hardware. So this is like microprocessors, making sure that they communicate together and work. So this is biological systems. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so this is my major, biological systems engineering. So a lot of people don't know what this is. So it used to formerly be called agriculture engineering. It may be called that at other schools as well. So we focus on like land and water resource engineering, a lot of environmental engineering and public health issues as well. So a lot of people they see that we have civil and environmental engineering and they see biological systems. So in my opinion, biological systems focuses solely on the environment aspect of it. Civil focuses a lot on the everything else construction related to civil, but biological systems focuses on just that. And this was the major that a lot of students went to before we had the biomedical major. So they would have a biological systems engineering major with the biomedical minor, which is still an option, but we have the major now as well. So some other things you can do is bioprocessing, bioengineering. So you can go pre-med, pre-vet, or pre-dental with this degree as well. And then we also focus on biomolecular things, biomedical and food processing. So a lot of the students end up getting jobs with government agencies, nonprofit organizations, watershed management, or food processing and industries.
So our next major is chemical engineering. So this differs from basic chemistry, like the chemistry in the College of Science, in that this is about taking those processes that you do in chemistry and making them scalable across a massive industry. So you use chemistry, you use math, physics, and biochem, and you try to find solutions, usually in energy production, chemical production, but also focusing in on environmental quality and how to make sure that the stuff you're doing is safe both for people and for the environment. This is one of the majors that you have an international experience option. So they take this class in the summer of, I believe, their junior year called Unit Operations Lab, and you can take that in Denmark or Germany or here on campus in Blacksburg. So this is a really cool major if you're into chemistry but also want the engineering side. And job types, they can go into fuels, chemicals, paper development, pharmaceutical industry. I know makeup. One of my friends is a chemical engineer, and she applied to a few makeup companies, and they have a big need for chemical engineers.
Material and science engineering, it's really trying to study the properties of structures of materials and creating them so they can be better in using better and new materials for different things. You try to basically try to focus on what you're making and what material would be best for that. Or if there's already a material, what could we improve about this material? So some of the areas of studies are metals, polymers is really popular right now, ceramics, and biomaterials. So if you look to the right, you see a football player. So the story with that is back a couple of years ago, there was a big football game, but one of the lead football players injured his arm. So because he couldn't wear a cast, because that would be considered a weapon on the field, they asked the material science engineers to make a cast that would protect his arm, but then a material that wouldn't be considered a weapon. So they did that, and we won the football game. So engineers win football games. So if you look at the top of that picture, you'll see the foundry. So this is an actual hands-on lab that the students are able to do. This is another very hands-on major, and they do a lot of projects in the foundry as well.
So mining minerals engineering is one of, I would say, our most hands-on major. Basically, they emphasize on how to find new resources, how to extract those resources, how to make sure that you plan the extractions in a way that's safe for the people working and then good for the environment, it's not destructive, and then how to reclaim that land after you've dug up everything. So we're one of the there's only a few mining minerals engineering schools in the entire country, and we're one of the best. And this is one of the majors that has a 100% job placement rate. So job types usually work in mines, equipment selection, mineral purification. Pretty self-explanatory, but also very cool.
The civil engineering focuses on the designing and building and maintaining infrastructure. So a lot of the areas of emphasis focus on construction, land development, transportation, geotechnical, water resources. In this major, you have to take a class in at least, I think, 6 of the different types of areas of emphasis to get a taste of all of them, but you also get to hone in on the ones that you want to focus on as well. So we have a lot of design teams. We'll explain what a design team is later that focuses on civil engineering aspects. And then we have a smart road near campus. So other companies will come bring their smart self-driving car on of our smart road, and it basically simulates different weather patterns to see how well the car would operate on those. And some of the job types are environmental engineers, construction management, and water resources engineers.
All right, construction engineering management is it's a combination of our civil engineering major, business major, and construction. So this is kind of like a major that was born from industry demand. These people are usually the project engineers and the field engineers that lead the construction project. So like I said, they plan, direct, and coordinate the construction. It's a really cool major that focuses a lot on what you would be doing in industry. So it's a very practical leaning major. You can see here this guy working with the construction equipment. But yeah, it's a lot of hands-on stuff.
Next, we have aerospace and ocean engineering. So they're 2 separate majors, but they're very close and similar in classes. So it's also very easy that you can double major in these classes. They have a double major option that's available. Some of the things that they focus on are aerodynamics, propulsion and flight, design optimization, and things like that. We also have a wind tunnel on campus that you can actually, it's so big. I've been in there before. You can walk into it, and it's huge. At the bottom, we had one of the weathermen come, and he wanted to see what it was like to be in a Category 5 hurricane. So he didn't make it the first time, but he came back, and I think he made it the next time. So that just shows how powerful the wind tunnel can move. They also have some other job types like design engineering, control engineering, naval architecture, and we'll talk about internships later, but NASA is one of a company that really recruits heavy from Virginia Tech. Also, some of the naval places around Virginia as well.
Well, mechanical engineering. This is my major. Basically, it's to sum it up, I would say it's like the study of like how things move and how to make them move. So we take motion, energy, heat, and force, usually how to get things to move, and basically study those things. It's a very broad major. You can focus on different things like all these topic areas that we have here. I personally have an automotive focus. It's a really broad, really cool major. Almost every single design team has at least one mechanical engineer, if not the majority of the team. On the side, on the bottom corner, you can see the Formula SAE team. They basically race a small Formula type car. Above it is a simulated dorm room fire just to test out the sprinkler system and what happens if that fails. You can see here it's very on fire. The question we had, what's acceptance rate into mechanical engineering? So mechanical engineering is traditionally one of the majors that it requires 3.0, so it usually fills up with all the students that have 3.0s that want mechanical engineering. That's been my experience for every year that I've been here. I hope that answers your question.
So you need your 3.0 freshman year because it's a very big and competitive major.
And we'll talk about some resources that will help you get 3.0. There's plenty of help on campus should you need it, and definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. One more about mechanical engineering. So automotive and is one of the big ones, vehicle dynamics. HVAC is basically, it's like your AC system, how to get like cold air or hot air to move from one place to another. It's actually a very involved process. Even we kind of take it for granted nowadays. Robotics is a big one. Power generation, those big turbine engines that generate power for us, like those are all like how to get heat to move and transfer that into mechanical energy. CAD, biomed, control systems. So my automotive focus has a concentration in control systems as well. How to get all the different components to work together in tandem to like move the car forward at the rate that you want, not have you be jerky and bouncing around.
Biomedical engineering is our brand new major. It came, I think, last year. So to answer your question, it really focuses on a lot of different aspects. So it talks about biology, chemistry, medicine, physics, and engineering. So you can't really have one without the other. You have to mix all of them in there. And they're all, if you want a specific list of the classes, you can go on Google and search biomedical engineering Virginia Tech, and it'll give you those specific list of classes that you have to take for each one. So like how many biology classes, how many chemistry classes, and things like that. But it really gives you enough so that you're well versed in all of those different disciplines. So some of the areas of interest are biomechanics, biomaterials, cardiovascular engineering, biomedical imaging, so a bunch of different things. And we are an R1 institution, so we have labs that have up-to-date equipment so that the students can use during their labs and things like that.
All right, industrial and systems engineering is what I commonly refer to like engineers of the engineers. To kind of look at engineering processes and how to make them more efficient. So if you think of like big distribution companies like Amazon, USPS, UPS, FedEx, they employ a lot of systems engineers to make sure that your package gets across the country in 2 days somehow and makes it with all the other packages and is also cost efficient and a bunch of other things. So that really blows my mind. Another part of it is human factors and ergonomics. So when you're in a factory and you're doing the same repetitive motion, how to make that work well with the human body, make it efficient so they're not like bending over and over again if they don't have to, and that's going to put a lot of strain on their body and waste time. So there's also management systems, making sure that communication from executive down to your normal employees and back up is very efficient and things aren't lost and doesn't take too much time. And a big company can be agile and responsive, work well. So commonly they're in the healthcare industry. It's very important that the healthcare system works well within a hospital and it's efficient and information isn't lost. Transportation, like I talked about, manufacturing, cost analysis, trying to get those parts to be made as efficiently as possible. So manufacturing is also a big aspect of industrial and systems engineering.
So for more information on each of the majors, all the majors have their own webpage where it's really more in depth and tells you more information about what the major really consists of and list of classes and things like that. You can Google Explore Engineering at Virginia Tech or Google the major name at Virginia Tech, and then their webpage should pop up.
Yeah, and there's a wealth of information online. Like even I, being in school already, still Google the classes that I'm going to take for next semester and see what they're like, and see what the professors are like. And you guys have just the same access as we do to that information. Definitely check it out. So the opportunities available are, we have a bunch of engineering minors, computer science, cybersecurity, green engineering are all very popular. You can also take minors outside of engineering. So personally, I have a minor in industrial design, which is under the College of Architecture and Urban Study. It's a really great way to focus on something else that might be correlated or like slightly like different from your major and add that onto your resume. I will note that just because a minor isn't offered, like I have an automotive focus, even though there's not an automotive minor, but you can take classes in automotive and you can be on automotive design teams. And you can also tell that to recruiters and they'll understand. You don't need an official like minor, I'm an automotive minor stamp on your resume for them to be working in the automotive industry. There's also study abroad programs that we have. The Rising Sophomore Abroad program, which we'll talk about a little more, is a really great program that you take right after your freshman year. And then each major has their own study abroad programs. The mechanical engineering one has automotive focused study abroad in Germany, where Germany makes a lot of amazing cars. So you study there and you learn the stuff there. And you're involved in the culture and you get to see different companies that work there and network there. Undergraduate research is also another big one. Virginia Tech is a massive research institution. And one of the great things that I really like about it is that the research professors here really want both graduate students that they have and are taking their research, but also want to bring in fresh, new perspectives. So they recruit heavily from the freshman and sophomore classes. Because what they can do is bring you into their lab, train you, teach you things. And if you enjoy the work there and you can stay on for 2 or 3 years once you become a senior and graduate, instead of bringing on someone who's within one semester of graduating, teaching them. And they might have learned a lot of stuff in classes, but then and a lot of stuff that you do in the research labs it will be based on what you're learning in class, but there's a lot of specific stuff that's specific to your research. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that you learn hands-on. And then engineering organization and professional societies. So we have each major usually has an honor society, and then we also have other groups like Society of Asian Sciences and Engineers, NSB, National Society of Black Engineers. But yeah, there's like plenty of groups. So we have some questions. Is there a first-year engineering program? There is. That's the general engineering program. You don't declare your actual major until the end of the first year. So you have time to figure it out and to talk to upperclassmen, which is, and go to those information sessions for each major and learn about
And
them.
there's some, we're going to talk about it later, but the Galpatia program, the C program that's also specific to freshman engineers. But those are in the later slides, as well as the next question talking about, are there any paid internships opportunities? We'll talk about career fairs and things like that as well.
So we have a question about entering into like the actual degree granting major. Your freshman year, like if you have AP credits that you come in, you hypothetically can if you have AP credit for every single common point entry class. So that will include chemistry, so it's AP chemistry, physics, both semesters, and then Project Lead the Way is a common program that grants credit for our freshman engineering classes. So that's Foundations of Engineering, both semesters. And then there's also English, and there's probably some other things I'm forgetting. Oh, calculus, both calculus. And yeah, so if you have all of those, then you can generally transfer into your major. And I guess theoretically, you graduate in 3 years. I personally don't know anyone that's been able to do that. But I did come in with a bunch of AP classes, and that's allowed me to take a minor in the remaining time I have, and also just lessen my course load. I don't have to take like 18 credits every semester. I can take like 15.
Yeah, if you don't come in with any credits, that's still okay, because everyone is set to graduate. All the majors are set to graduate in 4 years. They give you a specific plan of how many classes you need to take each semester. So if you won't be at a disadvantage if your school doesn't offer AP classes. I only came in with like 3 AP classes, so that was like 9 credits, and my school didn't offer that many. And you can if you take like AP calculus, Calc 1, for example, AP or AB, and say if you want to kind of see what calculus is like in college, you can definitely still sign up for the class and it'll still be on your transcript. So if you decide I don't want to do this anymore, you can just drop it and then you'll still have that credit and you can move on. Or you could do like what I did, and I went ahead and did Calc 2, which is Calculus BC, and I did that my freshman year, and I was like, okay, this is hard. Let me refresh all my stuff. So I dropped it, but I still wasn't like behind, because most people take Calc 2 their spring semester. So I just waited and took it over again in the spring. And then also you do have to pay attention, because I know AP test did not go that well this year, but you have to get a certain grade on your AP exam in order for it to count as a credit as well. And also if you take in like other stuff like APUSH or AP environmental, those may count as credits for like your other stuff. So you'll have like pathways. So these are these other extra classes that you have to take. So I took my APUSH exam and got a 3, and that's all you needed my year to get like history credit. So I never had to take history at school. So you can really do a lot with it once you get in your orientation, and you're going to be one-on-one with the advisor, and they'll kind of show you what you need to be taking, and they'll already formulate like a schedule for you freshman year. I know that was a long-winded like answer, but it hopefully answers a lot of other questions.
The only way that you're not going to get into Virginia Tech is if you don't apply at all. So it's a great school. I completely love it. I have no regrets applying. If you're looking at it, I would definitely consider it at the top of your list.
One more question that I want to answer before we move on is AP chemistry or AP environmental. Is it better to take which one for a credit? If you can, take both. But if you're really trying to prioritize, I would take AP chemistry, because I didn't pass the AP chemistry exam. But if you do pass, then it'll count as a credit and you won't have to take it. But if you don't, then I would definitely, it's very good preparation, because it's the exact same thing that we learned basically all over again. And it's already good to already have that in your mind and still have the notes. When you graduate, do not throw your notebooks away. Do not throw your notes away. Keep them, because you'll need them when you get to college.
So there's a question from Ethan that said, did minoring in industrial engineering or industrial design help you with mechanical engineering? So industrial design is more in the focus of the interface between a human and the product. So how to make that product accessible, ergonomic, intuitive to use. It's a lot about like materials in the sense of how it feels, not like, is it gonna break? Does it work well? Does it feel cool to the touch? Like what kind of emotional response does that involve? And aesthetics and like you look at past designers and stuff. So there is a design studio and we worked with CAD software, but I personally like industrial design a lot because I really like the aesthetic design part of it, in addition to the mechanical engineering, like technical design part of it as well. Industrial design is super cool. I definitely recommend it, but you definitely have time to consider that once you're here. I didn't decide until the end of my freshman year that I wanted to do a minor.
So these are just the Dean's team is the Student College of Engineering recruiting team. So we're about like 50 students ish. So these are just some of the internships and co-op experiences with some very high notable companies and where they were located. If we showed like all of the whole College of Engineering, you probably wouldn't even be able to see the map, maybe not even the globe, because students go pretty much everywhere. And we're think number top 5 in recruiter picks. So that means recruiters really like to have Virginia Tech students. So internships are usually 10 to 12 weeks over a summer and they pay you to work. And it's not like go grab my coffee or anything. It's like you're actually like working on a project and working with a mentor who's a employee at the company. And usually if you do well over the summer, they'll ask you to come back next summer. So when it's next summer, you don't really have to worry about your internship. You already have it set up. And if you keep doing that over and over again, it usually, by the time you're a senior, ends up with them asking to hire you. A co-op is a little bit different. You get a experience, but it's more like on a term basis. So it's usually about 6 months-ish. So you'll start, for example, you can start in the fall and you'll end in the spring, or start in the summer and end at the end of the year. And so what this means, you would have to take a semester off of school, but that's okay. They're still very highly encouraged. You get a lot of hands-on experience and you get to go and live wherever your internship is, and you usually pay for your housing and stuff like that, and you really get to work. They pay a little bit more too, and those usually end up in full-time hire afterwards. So when people take co-ops, that's sometimes when people say, oh, I'm a 5th year because they took a co-op. When you leave, say if you left like the end of your sophomore year, so you left your spring sophomore year, when you come back the same place where you left off. So you'll move on to your fall junior year when you come back. So, and they'll hold all your scholarships and all your FAFSA information and all that stuff too. So it's not like you're at a disadvantage. It's, taking a really good opportunity.
I took a 2-semester co-op, so like a whole year after my sophomore year. And I thought it was a really great experience. It helped me a lot with like seeing what industry was like and coming back to classes and be like, okay, like I see where you use this and you kind of like are more invested in your classes. You also know what direction you want to take. So I was really lucky. I got to work with a lot of engineers from a lot of different like majors. And so I was able to see like, oh, like I want to take this class, or like this is the path I want to go down. Another thing, if you take a co-op, you don't have to pay tuition. It's not like you pay like 5 years worth of tuition. I'm like a year behind now. Like I'll graduate in 5 years from when I started, but I only pay like 4 years worth of tuition. And the company I work for definitely pays you. If there's an engineering company that like doesn't pay you for an internship, like that's almost 100% a scam. Always get paid. Are there any co-op programs where you can live on campus? So one of my friends did a co-op over in Roanoke, which is about 45 minutes away. So he lived on campus in the same place that he lived on before. He just commuted 45 minutes over, and he worked there. And there's also some companies local to Blacksburg that also will hire. There's a whole world out there. You can go anywhere. Support outside of your classes. So the career fair we have a big one called the Engineering Expo in the fall of every year. So usually like 300, 400, or 500 companies come to Virginia Tech over a span of 2 to 3 days. Basically, you can see here in this photo that the recruiter on the right-hand side is a former Virginia Tech alumni. She's actually the one who hired me. But basically, we have an expression that says like Hokies hire Hokies. So it's really nice that the recruiters come back to campus. They know the classes you've taken. They know the experiences that you've had. They know what it's like. If you tell them a class and be like, oh yeah, that's really hard. Like I get why like that was a struggle. And it's really good just to have that automatic bond already. Like you're automatically already both Hokies, and that's a really strong bond. It's a really great way to network. And then aside from Engineering Expo, which is in the fall, we also have Cameo Career Fest, which is in the spring. A bunch of the majors have their own specific career fairs. Computer science has a big one. We see a lot of big CS companies, aerospace, and civil all have their own career fairs. So moving on, the STEP program is the Summer Transition Engineering Program. Basically, what it's for is to allow like rising high schoolers prior to their freshman year take a few weeks of classes that you take in freshman year. So you get a head start on like chemistry and like basically you can take the beginning part of that course and it'll be exactly the same as when you take it in the fall. So you get to figure out like how to take notes, how to time manage. You'll take your very first test. Like it'll cover up to the first test. It gives you a chance to really figure it out and get in the flow of things. And it basically doesn't count. Like after that step program ends, there's no grade at the end of it. You basically learn everything you need to know for the first 6 weeks. So you'll have an easier time transitioning. Hypatia and Galileo is an engineering living and learning community that is housed in Lee Hall. Basically, it's a program for engineers to live together. I did it my freshman year. It was a super great experience. What you see here is the design lab that's housed on the second floor. So you can basically like in your pajamas and also closed-toed shoes, you can go down to the design lab and like do all the engineering projects that you need to do for your freshman year. So like the drone project that Jessica talked about, if you're like most people and procrastinated until last week, like I did, the fifth engineering lab, which is for all freshmen, is going to be completely packed. But it's nice that you also have the design studio down there that you go down there whenever you want and work on it. You can also do personal projects. There's a laser cutter, there's 3D printers, there's power tools. There's also, I think what the most important thing is that there's a community that is also interested in what you're doing. And that also reflects for your coursework as well. A lot of different dorms, you'll turn to your roommate and they won't be taking any of the classes that you're taking. But in Lee Hall, where Hypatia and Galileo are housed, your roommate's going to be an engineer. So, and everyone in your halls is probably going to be taking calculus with you. And they're all going to have the same question that you do on number 3 because it makes no sense. So you can all get together and go to study rooms that we have in the dorm and just all work together. So it's great that you have a study group right there form with you. And it's a great place to network. Another common thing I hear is that like engineers are weird. Like you don't want to like live with like 600 of them all in the same dorm. You're an engineer. I'm an engineer. Like we all have different interests outside of engineering. Like I'm like probably weird, but like
one thing I wanted
I'm really into photography and I've had other people who are also interested in photography right there in the dorm. So it's really great to build that community. It's a really diverse and really enthusiastic group. Hypatia and Galileo also, you get a mentor for the first 10 weeks that lives in the dorm with you. Like they're literally like right down the hall from you. So I did that my sophomore year and I had a group of 6 mentees and basically like you're there to support them, answer their questions. It's really nice to just move into your dorm and know that like there's an upperclassman there who can answer like any question that you have. How to ship stuff to your dorm and how to get it to your room, like what classes to take, what dining halls to go to, when it's not busy, what professors are good. And it's also just someone that you can turn to right away. And then the peer mentoring group is pretty similar to that Galapatian Hypatia mentoring program, except you don't have to live in Lee Hall. It's basically the same thing. You're matched with a mentor who will answer your questions and help you out.
Another thing I wanted to talk about with the Hypatia and Galileo. So Hypatia is like for the girls and Galileo's for the boys, but they all live in a dorm together called Galpatia. And you also take a 1 credit class in the fall that's like 1 hour long, and they teach you things that no one else is really going to teach you, like how to write your resume, how to write a cover letter, how to properly email a professor if you need help or you want to contact them for something. So it's a really good in the professional development aspect as well. And they also have different types of events. They have social events, professional development events. They have academic events where upperclassmen or other tutors come into the dorm to help you with your, homework, or they have study sessions for upcoming tests because everyone will have the same chemistry test the same night and everyone wants to, help each other out. So it's a really supportive environment, things like that. I lived there for 2 years. I was a mentee and then I became a mentor. So it's really nice. It's an awesome program and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you apply for that. You're able to do that when, I think you can do it whenever like your housing thing comes up, and then
As soon as you get accepted to Virginia Tech, you can apply to Galpatia.
And I highly recommend that you do that, especially if you're female. Definitely do it. I thought that living in dorm with a bunch of engineers is gonna be weird. It was gonna be lame, but it was actually pretty fun. Like you meet so many different people, and I'm still friends with all the people that I made there today. And you still have, just because you're in the dorm doesn't mean you can't meet other people. You definitely can meet everybody, all the other majors through like clubs, just walking around campus, going to events and stuff that are non-engineering related. So you're not just like only, being around engineers all day. You still have the chance to do whatever you want. That's another question a lot of people ask.
Our female ratio in engineering is about 1 to 5, but Hypatia and Galileo within that dorm, it's almost 50-50. It's like 45-55. There's an even number of girls and guys, and I think that really balances it out. All my friends from my freshman year are girls because their rooms are nicer and they smell better. So having the entire dorm leave at 7 o'clock for that one chemistry test that you guys all have and crossing campus, crossing the drill field together, there's a sense of camaraderie that like is built there, and it's just like a really nice group to be in. And no, the alopecia class that we're talking about, the professional development class, one of the requirements is that you go to Engineering Expo your freshman year. I remember going to it really scared because I just came out of high school and it's been like 4 weeks. Like, I still get lost on campus. But going to this Engineering Expo, it's really nice to get that experience, talking to the recruiters, seeing what it's like, what questions they're going to ask you, and just like getting out of the way. And they also prepare you for that experience with your elevator pitch and your resume. So it's really great. Like every freshman that I knew that got an internship their freshman year was from alopecia. So that speaks to like how much of a leg up, especially your freshman year, that you have. And also like going through sophomore year when you have more experience, you have a whole year of classes under your belt, maybe some design team experience. Going into engineering expo your sophomore year, you've already done it once before, so you've got the nerves out of the way. So I think it's a really great program that helps you really succeed professionally, in addition to academically. Hands-on, minds-on is one of the mottos that we have here for engineering. In addition to just learning the curriculum in your classes, you also want to have your hands-on and build it. So I'm personally on the hybrid electric vehicle team, which you'll see in the like lower right-hand corner is this white, maroon, and orange Camaro. So what the point of the hybrid electric vehicle team competition is that every year General Motors will give us, or every 4 years General Motors will give us a car, and we'll make it a hybrid in addition to like one other focus. So for the Camaro, it was putting an electric motor in, also increasing the performance while minimizing fuel economy, which seems like a very contradictory thing. We were able to do it. We took the V6 six-cylinder engine that came in with the Camaro, swapped it out for a V8. We were the only team to actually put in a larger, less fuel-efficient engine. But it's a Camaro, so you want to go fast. And then we also put an electric motor to help reduce the fuel economy and really optimize the, like if you're not pushing it hard, then you'll rely more on the electric motor to lower your fuel economy. Also, we used an engine that can cut half its cylinder, so we're not under high demand load. It only uses 4 out of 8 cylinders, and that helps your fuel flow as well. Some other teams that are pictured here in the upper left-hand corner is that Formula SE team that I talked about, that races a small Formula style car. Next to it is Baja, which races a small off-road vehicle. On the upper right-hand corner is our human-powered submarine. So it's a submersible vehicle that's completely human-powered. Right below that, we have Design Build Fly, which designs like a drone every year with different targets from competition. In the lower left-hand corner, we have Concrete Canoe. So they somehow like build canoe out of concrete that also floats. That's a big one for civil engineers. I don't understand how that works, but it's really cool. In the bottom middle is Bolt, which is battery operated land transport. It's an electric motorcycle racing team. Super cool. They go super fast and they have a lot of industry sponsors. Yamaha actually gave them a prototype bike even before it was released to run as their competition motorcycle. And then on the lower right-hand corner, we have Hyperloop, which is one of Elon Musk's sponsor organizations. Basically, it's a pod that's going to go in a vacuum sealed tunnel, and it's supposed to be the future of transportation. You can go super fast since there's no air resistance or very low air resistance. So that's a really cool design team to be on. A bunch of these design teams are senior design teams. So what you can do is your senior year, most majors have a capstone project, and you can do you can just work on one of these projects as your senior capstone project. And it's really nice because a lot of what you're doing here is exactly what you'd be doing in industry. The hybrid electric vehicle team, one of our sponsors, we have 3 sponsors, which is General Motors, MathWorks, which makes MATLAB, and also Department of Energy. This is exactly the type of work that the engineers do in their jobs, and they're having us do it alongside them, and then they take whatever we learn and they use it in their products as well. So this isn't some like kind of like fun activity that we do. This is something that we actually use in our jobs. And they're having us do it alongside them, and then they take whatever we learn and they use it in their products as well. So this isn't some like kind of like fun activity that we do. This is something that we actually use in our jobs. And they're having us do it alongside them, and then they take whatever we learn and they use it in their products as well. So this isn't some like kind of like fun activity that they want to see us do. Like this is like real research that they will use in their products. So I think it's really cool to have them network. And then when you go to apply for a job, you say like, oh, I'm on the hybrid electric vehicle team. They know exactly what you're doing, and they know that the work that you're doing is exactly the work that you're going to be doing in industry as well. And then these teams a lot of them are housed in the Aware Lab, which is our advanced like design project lab. It's a really cool working space. You have a machine shop and a CAD lab that you have access to, and also just like space to work. And it's a really great group of engineers. Like if you ever like need a tool from another team, you can go borrow, and they're really great to talk to and network with.
So these are just some of our rankings. VT is ranked 13 for best undergraduate programs among the accredited engineering schools nationwide. What this really means is accredited. So if you're looking at another college, just make sure that whatever major you're looking for is ABET accredited. So that's ABET. And that accreditation is something that employers look at just to make sure that all the students are learning exactly what they're supposed to be learning, very up to date and things like that. So just make sure you look out for that if you are looking at other colleges. All of our majors are ABET accredited, and that accreditation I think happens every other year. We're ranked 31 in best graduate school programs for engineering nationwide. Number 7 for producer of engineers, number 8 for women engineers. So a lot of VT, we're high ranked in a lot of things. Another thing is all of our majors are top ranked, at least in the top 15 or top 25. So what that means is if you want to switch from one major to another major, you're not switching from a good department to a bad department. You're switching from one department to a great one. So they're all pretty great and are all highly ranked.
Some other rankings that aren't covered here, Virginia Tech is #1 in students that love their campus. And I think that's like something that I definitely didn't look at when I was applying to college. I'm like, I want to go to the very best engineering program. I like didn't look at any other rankings. If you're going to be here for 4 years, like all the time for 4 years, like you want to go to a school that like people enjoy being at. And I think that's something that I really noticed on campus. Like people want to be on campus. Like I miss campus a lot. With this COVID thing happening. And I know a lot of people do as well. And we're also like top ranked for food. Like I miss campus food. Like I miss like, eating at our dining halls when I'm at home, like even on breaks. And that's just like a weird thing that coming from like high school lunch, like I would never ever imagine. But if you're gonna be here for 4 years, like you want to eat well. I don't think so. Like if you live on campus and you're required to have a meal plan, but after like sophomore year, most people move off campus and they're not required to have one. But most people do anyway. The vast majority of people still keep a meal plan on campus because the food is that good and that convenient and that cost effective that like eating on campus is super. I would definitely look up Virginia Tech dining online and go to Google Images. The food is so good and those pictures are like very accurate. Like that's what it's like. So outcomes. Freshmen who continue to a second year in engineering, so that's like if you come in your freshman year and you continue on to your sophomore year in engineering, is 90%. That's like incredibly high for engineering. If you look at other schools, it's not nearly this high. For the Alopecia program, it's closer to like 98, 99. I think we had 100% a year ago or two of freshmen who continue to their sophomore year. So our retention rate, especially in that program, is very high. So that kind of speaks to both the people that come into the Alopecia program are really dedicated and also the support group that you have within it, both from your mentors and from just being together in the same group, also results in a much higher retention rate. So it's, like I said before, it's a program I did for 2 years. And I continue to highly recommend. And after graduation for the class of 2019, 74% of people are employed and then 13% plan to attend graduate school or already accepted admissions. You notice that this doesn't add up to 100% because we don't get a 100% response rate from our graduated seniors who have pieced out and might not check their VT email anymore. The median starting salary for the class of 2019 was 70 grand, which I think is a very high number. And I definitely know people that have made even more than that. Yeah, Virginia Tech Engineering, definitely. I think what I've noticed about the program here is that it's very close to industry. Like we have big industry influence. Like we have industry partners that do research with us and tell us what they want to see from our students. And they'll change curriculum just because of that. Mechanical engineering has implemented more labs because our industry partners have come back to us, or our graduates have come back to us and say, like, I really wish that we had more hands-on experience in mechanical engineering. So in addition to the many labs that we already have, they're adding even more because that's what's going to prepare you for industry. So that's something I really I really like about the program here.
So scholarships, this is a very important slide. So for freshmen, we have the Davenport Scholarship, the Pratt Engineering Scholarship. Definitely fill out your FAFSA so that you are eligible for financial aid. This also ensures that you will be able to be eligible for other scholarships based on what you put into your FAFSA, and that is October 1st, 2020. We have a priority deadline, so make sure, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but if you Google the priority deadline, just make sure you have it done before the priority deadline so you can have the most money given to you. We also have the Leo A. Pattis Scholarship for Virginia Community College transfer students. So we have some partner programs. So if you want to go to community college for 2 years and transfer into engineering, you definitely can do that, and you'll be already accepted by going through that program. And so if you don't get a bunch of, scholarships your freshman year, that's okay. When you're an upperclassman, that's when a lot of them begin rolling in. And at least that's how it happened for me. So we have this big, the College of Engineering funds. So it's when one application that you do, usually about in March, and that one application will basically put in a bunch of applications for different scholarships that you could qualify for. So when people and alumni graduate, they don't donate their money back to general engineering, which is what all the students will be in their freshman year. They donate it back to, for example, mechanical engineering. So the mechanical engineering will have money to give to the certain students, and it's all in one application. You just have to make sure you do it. It's on the students. The parents cannot remind your students to do it. Like, you have to do it. And if you miss it, then you missed it. But yeah, definitely do that. Also, when you're a freshman, I'm an out-of-state student, so I didn't really know anything about like applying for scholarships and stuff. But if you look up Virginia Tech scholarship opportunities, there's a whole page. You can apply for scholarships like before you even get admitted, and after you get admitted, and that are qualify for you while you're still in high school.
Yeah, and another nice thing about Virginia Tech is that like our alumni network is super strong, both in terms of recruiting but also donating. Before my freshman year started, like I would say like a month after I got my acceptance, like I got a random email that I thought was definitely a scam with like a Virginia Tech alumni from around my area that like gave me a scholarship. Like I 100% like I looked at this person and I like thought like I got scammed somehow. Like my BT email leaked already. But it's really nice because like alumni just want to give back to the next generation of Hokies. So it's definitely one of the perks of being at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I got a similar email though he was talking about my senior year. It was like during the summer or like before I graduated, actually. I don't know how they found out. Yeah. They got it, and yeah, so it was really nice.
People want to give you money, and that's why you should come to Virginia Tech. Computer requirements, basically you're required to have a laptop since a lot of the work you're doing can be on a computer. And the College of Engineering recommends a 2-in-1 tablet. So that's like a laptop they can like either fold around or like swivel or something. And you can write flat to write on it with a pen. A warranty is required, or you have to have the immediate ability to replace your laptop since you're going to need your laptop all the time. If you like go a week without having a computer, that's going to be pretty, because almost everything is done digitally these days. If you look up Virginia Tech College of Engineering computer requirement, make sure that you look for the College of Engineering one. You'll find the full list of specs, along with some recommendations and some common FAQ questions about. And for those people who are coming to Virginia Tech now or like this upcoming semester, you can go ahead and buy it. But for people who are coming at a later date, I would recommend waiting until the summer prior to entering to start looking for your laptop.
So the big question, why did I come to the College of Engineering at Virginia Tech? So for me, I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, so not too far away. It's only 2.5 hours away from Tech. And for me, it was between here and NC State. And I was just like, I don't want to stay in North Carolina. So we're going to see what Virginia Tech's about. I've never visited prior to the February of my freshman year. They were having or not February, I think it was April of my freshman year, whenever spring break was, my senior year. And so they had this thing called Women's Preview Weekend, which is hosted in the dorm of Lee Hall. So the engineering dorm that we were talking about before. And I went, and it's like a sleepover. You sleep over with one of the freshmen who are already living in the dorm. And we got to like meet with faculty, have dinner. I met my roommate there, and we were like best friends freshman year. And I got to go into the lab and make a project in the lab. We made a VT nightlight that I still have in my room. and we got to use the tools and all that stuff. And then I got to just have one-on-one time with the student to really ask, like, what do they like about tech? What is what is the big deal, you know? Because I see everyone always talking about it. And she really just gave me the rundown and showed me around campus. And on my own tours, like with me and my mom, everyone was just so nice. And it wasn't like, oh, we're just going to be nice right now because it's orientation time. Like, they were nice generally because that's what the campus is about. It had a really family feel to it. And I really felt like I belonged there and things like that. And I still feel like that today. So like Justin was talking about earlier, if you're going to go somewhere for 4 years, you at least want to feel like you belong there and that you're definitely supported in whatever you do.
So I'm a Virginia resident. I'm from Northern Virginia, as I'm sure a lot of people here are. So I came to Virginia Tech because I had taken a tour of the Galapatia, like living in community, their design lab in the second floor, like I was talking about, and also the Ware lab. So it's really cool to see like how much emphasis Virginia Tech had on like doing hands-on learning, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get hands-on and work with my hands and take what I've learned in class and apply it in person, because that's what I enjoy. I think it's fun. But kind of looking back, I think what I wish I had considered more was the aspect of like Jessica was talking about, like how much at home I felt like campus is, and Virginia Tech really exemplifies that. I wasn't really one for like school spirit back in high school, but like coming here, like I go to all the football games. Like it's a really great bonding experience to be in our Lane Stadium, and the football players come out, everyone's jumping, Metallica's playing. It's just like it's a really electric atmosphere, like that I didn't think I would be into, but like having been here, I like completely fallen in love with it. Keep in mind, like I didn't like watch high school. I didn't watch football in high school. Like I figured out how the sport worked coming into my freshman year. So like it's a really great community here at Virginia Tech, and definitely I recommend to everyone who's applying to colleges now, like really take into consideration like how much you feel at home and how much the campus community feels like a family to you, because there's going to be a time, like college is hard. There's going to be times where you struggle, but having that community to rely on and having your friends that's really closely tight knit and having the support group that you need is really important beyond just the classes that you take. College is about learning a bunch of stuff, but it's a 4 year experience that really marks the transition from you being like an adolescent, like your childhood, to adulthood, and that transition is really important. Having a good place to be when you're going through that transition and having good people to help you through that, I think is really important as well.
One of the questions is there a career center just for the engineering department? So the Virginia Tech as a whole has the Smith Career Services. So within that building, they handle all the career type things that have to do with Virginia Tech for all the students, but they have specific people who handle ones for each major. So yes, in that sense.
So I had a question about the honors college program. So there is an honors college that is separate from the College of Engineering in a sense that like it's not like the honors college for engineering, but this College of Engineering can also apply to the honors program, and they have a few more requirements that they have to meet, take like honors classes and teach a seminar. One of my friends did it. It's a cool opportunity to look into. You'll definitely be able to learn more about it either online or when you come to campus. We have one more question about paid internship opportunities at Virginia Tech. If you're referring to campus jobs, there's plenty of like jobs on campus. I work for, like I said before, the IT department. And basically what we do is like whenever an engineer, like someone in college of engineering has a question about a computer regarding like software, like the Wi-Fi doesn't work, like they broke something because they spilled water on it. Like we come in, we help them out, and we make sure that they have a computer. And then we also offer, another thing I want to mention is that we offer loaner computers to anyone who is in the process of fixing your computer. So if you bought a computer and somehow it broke and you need to send it in for warranty, or like you're going to buy a new one that's going to take like a week to ship or a month to ship, we'll give you a loaner for however long it takes from when you drop that computer off to get repaired to when you get a new one. So that's just some peace of mind for you guys. The bookstore does offer the same program if you buy from the bookstore itself, but our office will offer it to any undergraduate engineer that's taking engineering classes.
Another question is, how do you apply to Hypatia and Galileo Living Learning Community? So when you get admitted into Virginia Tech, you're going to get your VT email and all that stuff. And then there's going to be this thing called Hokie Spa. So this is where you'll find like your transcripts, your grades, your, financial aid information, all that stuff is going to be on there. And when there's a thing called Star Res, and that's really handles all the housing and dining plans. So when it's where you choose your dining plan and you choose what dorm you want to live in. So you'll go and you'll click Hypatia and Galileo. It'll be called Galpatia on there, which is just them, together. And then it'll prompt you to do an essay. It's a pretty short essay. And just really, in one thing that I can help say is when you're doing your essays, really put in the passions on why you want to live in the community and what you think you'll benefit from the community. Us students read your application, so we read it and evaluate, and then after that we send it to the higher up people to read it as well. But really put in a lot of effort on your essay to show that you really want to live in the community. For Galileo, which is the boys, it's more competitive and usually there's a wait list, so don't wait to do it. So do it as soon as you get admitted, even if you don't even know if you want to live there yet, just do it anyway. And then for Hypatia, which is the females, there's usually many spots still open for females. So I wouldn't wait on that either. And I would definitely do that. So you do it on Star Res. After you get your acceptance, do that.
The question, is there a study abroad available for each major? I'm pretty sure that every major has study abroad opportunities. And you can also, there's a global opportunities in engineering office. There's a study abroad office here at Virginia Tech, and even if there isn't like a formal program through the major, if there's a school that you wanna study at, or there's a country that you want to visit, you can definitely work within that office and see, like, look at their curriculum, make sure it matches with what you'd be learning here at Virginia Tech, and have that opportunity available to you. In addition, there's also there's internships offered like abroad. I know Rolls-Royce is a big one. It's a jet engine company that's based in Europe, and they have a global internship program where they'll take students from the United States and like have them work in like France or like. And so if you that's like just another alternative to study abroad if you want to spend some time in another country while gaining engineering experience. Yeah, for the people who are planning to apply to Virginia Tech, I highly recommend it. I think one of the things that I appreciate most now that I'm here is that like everyone here wants to help you. Like whenever I reach out to professors or reach out to other design teams or other students, you can tell that they're not trying to like compete with you or like ask you questions to make you feel belittled or like trying to make sure that they think that you're smarter than them or something like that. It's like it's a really great community that wants to see you succeed. So like my freshman year, I participated in a research project that like they brought me in, they taught me, and they really gave me the opportunity to grow and to contribute to the program, even though I just came out of high school and frankly, looking back, didn't know very much. But they're like, well, my impression going to college is like, oh, like I have to know everything. Like if they ask me to do something, I gotta know how to do it. And if I don't, I really shouldn't be on the program. Like, college is about learning. Like this is still higher education. So there's definitely opportunities to learn. And a lot of times you're gonna be working on a project that like if you don't know like no one else knows it either because this is the first time it's ever been done. Like this is cutting edge research that you're working on. So you'll have a group to work through that problem, and you as someone new will be able to bring in fresh perspectives, and they'll supplement that with the technical knowledge and experience that they have, and you'll be able to work and come up with solutions to that.
One question says, depending on the dorm, could you bring an external monitor for your laptop, and are the desks large enough? So yeah, I've definitely seen people bring their monitors and stuff. Every desk in every dorm is the same size. All the furniture is the exact same thing. And so, I mean, yes, but what I would say first, because usually when you move into the dorm and you realize that you don't have everything that you thought you needed, like my dorm wasn't complete until probably the middle of the semester of my first semester. So what I recommend is probably just come with your regular stuff, leave the monitor at home for a minute, see how you like to operate, because if you like to do work at your desk and you have the monitor there, might not be enough space for you to do what you need to do. And then on fall break, which is in October, or Thanksgiving break in November, if you want to come bring your computer back or your monitor back, definitely do that. And there's a list also somewhere on the Virginia Tech website, there's a list of stuff you can and cannot bring in the dorms as well.
there should also be like dimensions for furniture and stuff like that. I will say that like at least for me, I had like two monitors at home. I had the whole setup in front of my desk and whatnot. When I came to Virginia Tech, like I didn't spend that much time in my dorm. Like I like came back to sleep. Like if not, like I was somewhere on campus, either studying or hanging out with friends or like doing classwork, being on like the academic side of campus. And that's especially more true now that I live off campus. I like leave my house, go to the gym, and like go through all my classes, go through work, study in the library with my friends in the afternoon, hang out, and then like I'll come back to sleep. So like I don't before this whole pandemic happened, I didn't spend a lot of time in my room. So there's another thing to keep in mind. Like you might not be at your desk as often as you might think. But thank you for joining us. For the people who are considering applying Virginia Tech, I sincerely hope that you do. For the people who have already accepted your offer, you made a great choice, and I look forward to see you guys virtually or in person in the fall. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.